And specifically the national dollar, the continental dollar, its value drops by over 70% between 1775 and 1777. So all of these things are kind of happening at the same time. And what Hamilton is doing when he's on Washington's staff is he's developing, okay, what can we do to solve this problem? And he says the real problem is that the inflation is not the cause. Inflation is the symptom. The real cause is economic underdevelopment. Mm-hmm. Because if you had more economic development in the country, then you'd have more goods and services purchased, which means that the value of the money would be more directly correlational to those goods and services being created, which means the money would ultimately be worth things.
Right.
Then it wouldn't be otherwise. And so if you look at what we think about with national economic policy, the sort of economic nationalism of Hamilton, there's a quote of his I believe this is either in the Federalist Papers or later on, where he talks about the means proper. The new government needed the power of regulating trade, determining with what countries it shall be carried on, granting indulgences, laying prohibitions on all articles of export or import. So that's like taxes, or, forms of tariffs, imposing duties, granting bounties and premiums for raising, exporting, importing, and applying to their own use the product of these duties. Again, very kind of garbled language. It's very tortured. He's late 18th century. But what is the main lesson out of this? Is that a new state should have a national credit and financial system that would coin money and establish banks. It would have regulating international trade and also having tariffs or excises on certain things coming in. So you could have higher tariffs on exports in order to boost domestic production to a place where it's good enough to then be exported out, and then lower taxes on exporting things out that would eventually be developed. And so these and the raising of this tax revenue would then be used to develop macroeconomic national policy in terms of developing industry. So again, it's those three main pillars. It's creating well-regulated debts, which creates a national credit system, which is indispensable for a country. 2, a national banking system to create uniformity and, most importantly, a trust or faith in the system.